community plan. That's got some of the information. We're going to be getting more and more information on there. But August 20th and August 27th, those are dates that we need you to remember. And we need you to show up at the venue for the plan pitch. So if you don't watch any of the rest of this video, go check out that website. And for those of y'all jumping on, somebody let me know that we sound all right, that we've got some volume. Christy, how are you this evening?
Great. Happy Friday night to everybody. Hope you've had a great week.
Yeah. I mean, what else would you want to do in Etowah County on a Friday night besides sit and talk about not the rendering plant?
That's right. You know, it's just a regular old Friday night in Etowah County.
Yeah,
10 months in.
I think we can drag this thing out for at least another year.
No, Lord, no. Mm-mm.
All right. Sounds Danny Starnes. Hey there. Sounds great. Thank you, sir. Reba's on.
Good evening, Reba.
Reba.
She's been keeping an eye on that rendering plant fire in Huntsville.
Yeah, that's crazy. I have what I've read, and I know I've been, I came straight from work, so I've very tiny amount of time to consume information, but it sounds like nobody was hurt from the initial reports.
Yeah.
So that's good. And definitely that
Look
will be
pretty rough.
Yeah, look pretty bad. I mean, if James Spann's pushing it out,
true.
it's probably something fairly
You
significant.
could probably smell it all the way, from Huntsville to Birmingham. So.
Yeah. Hey, well, James Spann's the man, so I love to have his thoughts on a rendering plant. But I'd rather have him stick to the weather and keep doing what he's doing. So,
Well, he probably.
God,
Yeah.
people will never know outside of our area what a jewel we have.
Yeah, I know.
Sorry, I'm going on and on about. He's just an incredible guy. It's saved a lot of lives.
No doubt.
All right, guys. So thanks for jumping on. If you got questions, so we're going to talk about the plan and clarify, because I think there's been some confusion. Part of that, I think, is my fault because I haven't gotten more information out sooner and quicker on what's happening August 20th and the 27th. If you came to see the whole pitch plan tonight on exactly the industrial complex and all that kind of stuff, that's not what we're talking about. We're not going to go into all those details. Those are cards we're gonna hold tight until the 20th for obvious business development reasons. Certainly not something out of a lack of transparency. It's one of the reasons, if you go to this website that you can see, go to advancedetowah.com, community plan. You go there, or you can just go to advancedetowah.com. I've got a link on the homepage. If you go there, what you're going to find now is just kind of an explanation on why we need you there the 20th. The 27th is going to be an opportunity for you to speak as citizens, but then a little further down is a list of the current investors right now. So we want transparency throughout this process.
There are a couple names that aren't on that list that I need to provide to you too, Michael, to update it.
So that is going to be
an
evolving web page with more information. At the very bottom of that page is the criteria. I know it's been posted and floated around, but that is the criteria that we've been handed from the airport authority lawyer.
Correct.
And we were talking earlier about have you obviously you've done plenty of been involved in plenty of land and business development around here in the 23 years
that I've been here in Gadsden.
25 years.
25
All
years
right.
in Gadsden.
So have you, does that criteria, does that look like something that's been used around here before, or?
I haven't seen something like this being used before. So, while the evaluation criteria certainly are something that the Etowah Community Group is able to complete and able to fully show the airport authority that it has all of these items, it certainly is a very detailed and extensive list for any type of a project pitch that one has seen, and it certainly seems to be geared towards a Pilgrim's Pride type of a development a lot more than the type of development that we have. Be that as it may, we are still, fully capable, able. There's none of the requirements that are on here that we're not able to meet. But it's interesting that it's such a detailed and extensive pitch plan. I don't know where they received it from. I don't know where they got it from. So
all right. So guys, hit the share button real quick. That would be awesome. And we'll see. We got about almost 40 folks on here, and I'm sure plenty will watch later. So let's. What is August 20th? What is it about?
Okay, so if I'm going to go back a little bit and just kind of refresh everybody on how we got here. If you'll remember, in June, Pilgrims made an offer, finally a proposal, called it, in order to buy the land. They wanted the airport authority to consider it at a meeting on Friday. They sent it in on Wednesday. They wanted the airport authority to consider it on Friday. They did not, but it was released at the airport authority meeting that was on that Friday. When we received that proposal letter that Pilgrims had made, there had already been a group of people that had already been talking about, hey, if they'll sell it for 1.1 to Pilgrims, we can come up with a better plan than that. Right. And Michael, you were involved in it too. There were these conversations about doing that. And really the only reason that this group hadn't already done it is because we had talked about what's the timing behind that? When do we even do that? There was just so many other issues going on at the time. So it was actually convenient. It was the really good timing that Pilgrims made the proposal to buy the property that they did, because it created the opportunity for this group that had already thought about that and had a plan to do that, to go, well, you know what? Because we were able to put it, like the next day, we were like, well, here's ours, because we already sort of had it.
Right.
So this Etowah community group that was made up of about 6 or 7 people at the time, it's grown to 30 at this point, and may even grow even more, said, here's what and it's better. Not only is it more money, but it is a better plan. It is for a industrial park, for light industry. There can be hangar space,
which is what that area is already zoned for.
That's right, zoned I-1, and it has all kinds of ideas for serving existing industry that already has expressed a need for more space, and so that's when that proposal was issued in order to provide another alternative. So now what the airport authority has decided to do, now that there's 2 proposals at play, there's actually 3 I think at this point, but there's 2 at play, to go, well, we're now going to kind of go back and we're going to have a meeting, and we're going to let both parties, or all parties who have presented an offer, to present to us. And that's what this is. This August 20th is the opportunity for both parties, or any party that's made an offer to buy the land, to give its proposal to the airport authority at a public meeting for everybody to come and see. Now let's talk about what this really is. Okay. We're concerned that it really is, because we all know that before this lawsuit was filed, and before the opposition has come up and fought so hard to stop this, we were being told it's a done deal, it's over, that the decision's made. We've learned that the FAA had already been contacted.
Right.
All of the due diligence had been done, and even in the court's order, it was like there was a crescendo of activity, that it was all leading up to that. So, we hope, and we're being told that every proposal is on equal footing, and this August 20th is an opportunity, like a normal economic development pitch, for multiple offers to come in. It is not the situation where 2 competing offers on a clean slate, out of the blue, come and make. We've got all this history, and so we can't just ignore the fight we had to fight to even get here, and the idea that we're just supposed to go, oh, okay, you tell us we're on equal footing, so we're going to start off square. I hope that's the case.
Yeah.
But we had been told the airport authority's mind was already made up.
Yeah.
I hope that's not what's happening here.
Well, we know we've got one letter that, from one of the current members, that basically to the city of Gadsden, saying, don't let outsiders tell you what to do. And then, a couple of weeks later, he's put on the airport authority. We have the attorney for the IDA,
whose public position is they totally want it.
Yeah.
It's a great thing
Yes.
for our county.
David
for our
Hooks
city.
has said that. He thinks
On
that
the
it is
record.
it is the absolute way to go. So we have the attorney for the IDA, and we've got conflict with the water board, who to obviously all the discussions of all the revenue that they get from water. So yeah, I
We
mean,
have all these emails from Harry, the board chair, where he had been actively cooperating back in last summer to whatever needed to move this along. So
Right.
so we can't just act like this has not, and we can't. This group knows they're not. We're not going to be fooled by that.
Right.
But that's why that it is so important that people come, and because I have said from the beginning, we all have said from the what's really going to make the point more than just a great presentation that this group is going to make, that clearly this is the better option than a rendering plant. Obvious, it's self-evident
Right.
that it's better than a rendering plant. It's you coming, because the message that the airport authority and the city leaders are continually told is that this group isn't real, that it's some Facebook, group that isn't real.
Well, so and so I'm going to say it again and probably say it a few more times while we go through this, because I know some people are going to watch this later and they're not going to watch the whole thing. And God bless you folks for hanging in with us as long as many of you do. August 20th, we need you to come to the venue at noon. We need you to show up, and I genuinely believe this decision that the Gadsden Airport Authority is going to make is way up there in one of the most important decisions that has occurred in Etowah County in many, 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 many years.
It's pivotal.
I think it is a pivotal moment in the history. And so, from my point of view, I want people to be there to see it, right? Mm-hmm. So you don't hear secondhand. I am going to be streaming it live and getting it out there as best I can, but nothing will be better than being there in person and seeing the presentations. And then on August 27th, they're going to open up to public comment and Q&A, or that's still in discussion of what they're going to allow to happen?
We know that public comment will be part of the public hearing on the 27th. The idea being the airport authority will be there and the public can come forward and say what they want to say. Whether or not there'll be a Q&A where the parties that are proposing to buy the property will also be there in order for there to be, I'm not sure about that.
Right.
But regardless of whether Q&A is part of it, the public hearing is a big deal. The idea that the airport authority, is going to listen to you and is going, and you can come up and speak, and these, and not only is the airport authority watching, but the city's watching, and the water board is watching, and these other leaders that are trying to bring it here are watching this. These are your neighbors.
Yeah.
These are your coworkers. These are your so we keep talking about the opposition group. The opposition group is your churchgoer, is your friend. We are Etowah County. We are the smallest county in the state. We're not some nameless, faceless, opposition group that's coming to attack people.
Right.
We are, and they need to see your faces and that you're there and that you care and that this matters and it's pivotal, and that they need to understand that all of our lives are going to change, including theirs, if they decide to let this rendering plant come.
Yeah.
And we can do that in a peaceful, respectful way.
Yep.
But they need to see that.
So I'm going to say that multiple times, and we have through this whole thing, and I really don't expect anybody to get out of hand, although the last time we really had a very large group get together in any sort of protesty way, that was months ago, and people's emotions are through the roof at this point.
Yeah.
And I mean, as I look around at other stuff that's going on in our country and where we are in 2021, the civility that's actually been brought forth, that's been seen through this entire process, to me, speaks volumes of the people of Etowah County. So I know that I mean things are boiling, and that's a hard thing to deal with. But I'm proud to be a part of a group that has behaved the way that it has. And I expect the same type of respect. And like you said, we're not a nameless group, right? This is not. I mean, these are everybody. I mean, half the stuff I see on Facebook. Well, I go to church with that guy, or we go to. I mean, my kids went to Ure Brown. I mean, I'm not a stranger. Nobody is.
It's easy to just, say, oh, it's this nameless, faceless opposition group on Facebook, blah, blah. It's not. And there's just a lot to be said for 1,000 people coming to the venue and saying, this is important. Don't do this. We are your neighbors. We're your friends. We live here. And I just think nothing really replaces that. As great as this group is, and the Facebook can really kind of communicate and put us all together, I think that there are moments, and this is one of those, that just being there is a very important thing, not only for them to see the group, but to watch. I mean, I believe the Etowah community, that the proposal that's going to be made is going to make you proud to be a resident of Etowah, and make you proud to be part and be excited about the vision that we have for ourselves, that we can do. And you're going to leave not only, we're already kind of convinced that a rendering plan is not the best option. I think most people, it's hard to argue that it would be, but you will leave feeling like,
some would seem,
you're going to leave thinking, wow, look at what we can do if some vision is in charge. And because there's vision here, we all have it. This group has it. It's just unfortunate that a number of our leaders don't have it. But that's not to say that we can't come out of this and we can't get this rendering plant behind us, and those that have the vision come together, and we can transform into what we know that we can be.
So David Stanley said, if we show up 1,000 people strong, do we have a chance Pilgrim Pride just leaves?
I don't know what's it going to take. I don't, but I certainly think that would help. I mean, I don't see how it's possible that, and again, I have always believed that in the power of the people and their voice in a respectful, clear way, and that's a very, very powerful thing. So.
Oh, this is it's something that's got to be talked about. Robbie. Hold on, let me bring this up here. It's a very valid point. Since COVID is again on the rise, you think the city will pull something to limit attendance to the meeting on the 20th. So obviously, that's certainly a possibility, and we can have debates about COVID and how to handle that. I don't want to get into whether that's a valid way to handle it or not. It's immaterial if they choose to do that. We're still going to be able. I mean, the parking lot at the venue is huge. You can sit on your phone outside in the parking lot and watch the live stream, because I'm still going to be able to live stream it. We're not starting from scratch like we did at the beginning of COVID, where people weren't really used to doing that, and now everybody's used to watching things that way. So
well, the hope
we'll
too
do the
is
best
that
we can.
If there is a problem like that, they would postpone it.
Yeah.
Right, until COVID is cleared up, and we can have the full-on meeting where everybody can show up and say what they need to say. Not cancel it, not ruin it, not once again put constraints on us, closing the blinds at the city council meeting.
Right.
All those constraints.
Tuning us out.
That's right. Tuning us. Take the meaning out of the forum, and just wait. Then just wait until you can do it right, and that opportunity can. I think that it's worth time, and if it's worth doing right, then it's time to wait for it to be done right.
So we'll see, and of course, if we proceed and we end up with some type of Q&A way, certainly I'm more than happy to share in equipment and expertise on how we could set that up so that anybody that really wanted to have a chance. So you don't have to be a Zoom expert or have any fancy camera. Like, there's ways that we can figure that out. So, you know, like you said, I would definitely hope that they would postpone, or figure out a way to do it, that we could do it in person. I don't know. I mean, maybe move it to an outdoor venue. I mean, early September might actually not be 1,000 degrees. You know, maybe there's some other ways to do it, but,
Right.
I guess we'll, you know, for the last 9 months, we've been rolling with the punches. And so
We
we'll
really
continue
do.
to do
I
that.
mean, you guys know this as well too. The whole opposition team, all of you guys. Every week is a new event, a new day.
Who's tired of getting punched? Speaking of rolling with the punches.
But
Yeah. So, so that's kind of the plan. Each group's going to get an hour. And I think, as I understand it, they're gonna draw a name out of a hat for who goes first. So we'll see. I very much back to the civility and proper behavior. Let Pilgrim's Pride talk. And I'm going to be selfish from a video guy. I want to make sure that every word can be heard and documented. So if there's a loud booing, I mean, not that I'm saying that anybody in the crowd would boo Pilgrim's Pride, you know, and all their awesome technology and all that kind of stuff. But, you know, I want to make sure that, because I do think this is going to be a critical moment in the history of our county. And
it needs to be on camera and recorded.
Yep.
And everybody understands what happens, and so that there's accountability for everybody, you know, whichever way it ultimately goes.
Yep. And I mean, if you know, if you're somebody that is in support of this, and you know, you want the rendering plant and you think it's the best thing and the best case, like, I want to make sure that, hey, you know, all that's documented, so that down the road we can all say, well, we were wrong. All, you know, 9,000, 10,000 people plus, we were all wrong. I don't think that's going to happen, but at least, you know, we have it documented, and you know, we'll see. That's been my goal in all of this, is just simply to let everybody see and participate and understand as much as they can. You know, the transparency discussion has been a big one. With that in mind, and transparency, let's back up to this group getting formed and the process that we kind of went through to get to where we are. And one thing that, you know, there's a lot of discussion on Facebook. Everybody wanted to start a GoFundMe and figure out how the citizens could buy it. And we spent like 2 months talking through how do we structure that? How do we do that in such a way that isn't such an insane legal paperwork
and just
burden?
the level of complexity and managing expectations. It just, and you're right, you know, we're going back to, we spent a lot of time talking about it, and it ended up, when Pilgrims made their proposal, we didn't have time to talk about it anymore.
Right.
If we were going to make it, we've kind of got this. All right, we just need to get like a smaller group that is willing and able, and so that we just had to focus on that, and we did. We tried to come up with a way that it could be the community buys it, and it just wasn't able to happen. Yeah.
So, you know, and I throw that out there because I know, I mean, especially now with the numbers, and the money and the great potential to turn a profit on this whole thing. You know, not that a ton of money hasn't already been spent, but you know, if they sell this to the group, I mean, go look at the names, look at the businesses, look at the people that are involved. They're going to succeed. I mean, that's
what they do.
That's why they're part of this. That's why they have the means to do this.
They have vision.
They have vision. They know how to get this done. And they've all of them have done it multiple times. So I know that that's going to be a point of discussion about, oh, this was all about, some rich folks wanting to get richer. And I'm just, I mean, all I can do is say that's just completely absurd and not true. All these guys are definitely smart enough not to have gone through all of this and spent all of the money that they have just to get to this point. It's just not the case. So,
and these are all, like they've got successful, but they've got plenty of things to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
They had no plans to stop what they're doing and they're doing it to stop a rendering plant from coming here.
Yep.
Number one, that is the reason that they are doing that. Obviously they're not going to pitch a plan that's not going to succeed. Not only is that not something that they do because they do things that succeed, but, the city and the airport authority want tax revenue to come from this. They want jobs on this property. They want it to be an economic development, so they claim. So, the project we have to show the success that the project can be, because that makes the presentation criteria. It meets one of those things that they're asking for. So that won't be hard for this group to come up with the economic development concept that will succeed. That's what they do for a living. So it's going to succeed. Yeah. And that's why it's so hysterical when I hear people, oh, this group can't do this, or it's just some made up plan, or whatever the word, dreamt up plan.
Yeah.
I'm like, have you seen these people? Do you they don't just put their name out in order to come up with a plan that isn't going to work here. But their number one goal is to stop a rendering plant from coming here. They would be fine if the airport authority went, you know what, we're not going to sell it to anyone. Completely fine with this group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, although I think at this point I want to, I mean, something's got to happen at that airport.
Yeah.
It's sat there undeveloped forever. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I mean, let's throw it out there that we shouldn't have to do this. This is literally, I mean, we got a portion of the citizens of Gadsden, and of course it's made up from folks from all over Etowah County, so not all of them are Gadsden citizens, but you're basically buying the land from yourself to turn around and doing your own.
And they're acting like they're being the IDA.
Yeah. I mean, that's what's happening here. Yeah. So, sadly, that's where we are. So I'm, I'd be more than whatever gets rid of the rendering plant, but I'm kind of excited to see some movement out there, and there's some good stuff that will easily happen.
And if our city and IDA don't have the vision other than a rendering plant at prime acreage at the airport, then somebody's got to, right? Yeah. I mean, and it might as well be.
We don't need
the people we know and trust that we see every day.
And it's not about being against the poultry industry and what goes on in Etowah County.
Right.
It absolutely, we don't need to put the poultry industry on our airport. So, anywho's, I'm not going to get off on a tangent on that. There's a good question in here that we can. So, who is speaking for Advance Etowah's offer? I don't want to get into all the details, just because it's just kind of more fun to keep some of that. Obviously, you're going to get to see it all, but I will say it's not necessarily about one person. It's about it's going to be several. Because that's part of what has occurred with this group naturally, is that we have a number of different, very deep experience in certain skill sets, and so we're going to take advantage of that and let the people that know what they're talking about talk about what they know what they're talking about, and so that's so it's not going to be necessarily one person.
And that's what's so exciting, is that there's a breadth and depth of the skill set that this group has. And so there's, multiple levels of expertise, each of, so we've got all kinds of expertise. So we're excited. I think you would certainly agree, Michael, that we are excited about what this group can present to the county. And you're going to leave thinking, wow, we are better than what the city thinks we are.
And that's, guys, through all of this, I've said it before, and I'll keep saying it, that this has encouraged me As a transplant, I didn't grow up in this area. I've only lived here full time since 2012. I've always kind of been like, what is going on with Etowah County? How do you have this beautiful water source and there's no focus on it? What is this airport doing? I have never been so encouraged to see what's going on now. And I've said it. I think, if things can't change, if people want to argue that things have been good for decades in this county and that we've been heading in the right direction, then, I'm done having that argument. The numbers do not show that at all in any metric. So we got to do something different. Well, how do you do something different? I've never been encouraged that now is one of the biggest opportunities that I've ever heard of. Okay, we can actually change something. When you got as many folks in so many different communities around here, as fired up and interested. The catch is, after we finish this render and plant, is that we got to keep going, and we've got to develop an actual plan as a community. We got to fix elections. Yep. And we got to because we can't use the current. Yeah. To come up with a plan, because they've had a long time to come up with a plan, and there's not a plan. We got to fix election, and then get a plan and execute that plan. Yep. I mean, it's not that hard. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So guys, again, if you can show up to anything, this I think is one of the most critical. Let our numbers be seen, and again, in a civil way. Show up, let your voice be heard on the 27th if you want to speak. If not, I know there's going to be plenty of folks that are going to be willing to probably say what you're thinking, which is awesome. But we still need you there, and it's going to be at noon. I know it's a lunchtime. I would encourage all the business owners, that everybody that's got the signs out, everybody that's been involved in all of this, figure out a way. I understand that some businesses can't close. Some people can't leave work. But if there's any way that you can close your business down and get all your employees down, if you can take your lunch break and come, however it is, I think that this is going to be a very important moment. And so that's what we're asking everybody to do. You go to advanceetowah.com. Again, I'm starting to get some more information on there. There's not a ton. The biggest thing right now is there is the list of the current investors. We've got a few more, but guys, look at the names, look at the businesses that are there, and the number of people that they already employ. And that's one of the things that encourages me about this group. And you'll see it out there that, it's Etowah industry leaders that are going to go develop industry. It's a simple phrase and maybe sounds a little, corny, but it is just that simple. And so I'm fired up. I'm excited about the 20th. I'm excited about the 27th. I'm excited for people to think about what else can occur, and I mean, yeah, this is about the render and plant, and this is about the airport and this 88 acres. But what else can Etowah do? What else with this mindset and with the drive that we have? We got a lot of issues. You were on Mr. Zachary's show. I've learned so much about the flooding issues that we have in East Gadsden. I don't think there's anybody around Etowah that would listen to that and go, yeah, that we shouldn't fix that. We've got to fix that. That is shocking. Yes. Absolutely shocking. I mean, we're not talking about just flooding on roads, which is really bad enough. This is in people's houses. This is in their yards. I think Carolyn was supposed to send me a picture of that happened this week, that it like swept somebody's car into a ditch, almost hurt the inhabitants. It was that bad down there. I mean, we and those, we have become aware of so much here, and there's not any reason that we don't have the resources to come together and fix this problem. It just takes the will. And
when you see 1,000 people show up at the venue to say, this is not rendering is not who we are. Let's talk about who we are. And that shows the will is there. Mm-hmm. And there's nothing we can't do if the will is there.
Yeah. So over the next few weeks, we're going to get some of the investors are going to get on, and I just want to have a conversation. Again, I'm kind of a newbie. I'm meeting a lot of new folks here, and it's been a lot of fun. I love having these conversations, and I want to have these conversations with some of these business owners, and just folks from around our community. Learn more about their history, learn more about the business their thoughts. I think that's one of the things I found is that you've got a lot of little groups of folks, little cliques, be it church cliques or school cliques or wine club cliques. Everybody really kind of has the same attitude around here. Like, what's wrong with Etowah? Like, we can do better. And so now, we're having that conversation together, which is
just time.
Awesome.
It's time. Yep. I think people have realized if I don't stand up, if I don't come to the venue on the 20th, if I don't get involved, then it's gotten to this point, and we're all to blame for that here. In a way, we all should take responsibility for where we are, because when we do that, when we take the responsibility for where we are, then we can own that and we can come out of it. And it's not us versus them. It's not it's okay. We've got to come together and say, no more. That's not who we are anymore. And forge a vision and a plan for who we are. And if we can do that, then we can do anything. We got to beat the rendering plant first, but
yeah. All right. So Lisa asked us, is there a way to force the Gadsden Airport Authority and Gadsden to improve the airport, to show where the millions in grants have been used?
So what you do is you get a new mayor,
right,
who appoints people on there that are transparent and that releases that kind of information. I think there's people who've fought for years and years and years to try to get more information out of the airport.
Lance Corey, I know, has been one of many. John Floyd has been asking a lot of very good questions and asked for a lot of information. I know that Andrew Jones has had some discussions at the state level. That's a really good question, and I absolutely think at some point. There needs to be some answers on where the grant money go. And I don't want to get into a whole bunch of details about what's occurred at the airport, but just from my personal experience of being out there and understanding how airports work, the all this money that came in, that went to this FBO or fixed base operator, and Lance is far more fluent in all of the details of this, so hopefully I don't screw it up, but all that money has gone in, and I, to my knowledge, there's never been. Usually, an FBO is an organization that actually kind of does all the work on the airport, whether it's maintaining airplanes, pumping gas, and all that kind of stuff. They're buying equipment, and I've never seen that. So I'm not really sure where all of that money went to and what it got spent on. I think that's a very valid question, and I do hope that at one point we will get answers on that. I don't know.
Well, just to let everybody know, they're taking the position the FBO is a private entity. We've heard that before, hadn't we?
Yep.
And that it's not a transparent entity, that we can't get the records. So you've got the Airport Authority records, but then they have money that goes into the FBO, and then that's where it goes dark.
Right.
So just to give a little bit of background.
Yeah. So, and at some point we probably need to get Lance on and go through all of that. And I hope I don't know. I know there's a lot of discussions about forensic audits. I don't know how to pull that off. Maybe at some point that can be figured out, or an opportunity comes, or the folks in Montgomery go, yeah, okay, there's something fishy.
And these are things to start adding to the plan of cleaning some of this stuff up. It's going to take a while. It's going to take years, I would suspect, to clean up some of this. How did we get here? How do we clean it up? And where do we go? If we've got the will in order to do that, there's no reason that we can't. And we clearly do have the will.
All right. A question about the impact of the fire in Hanceville. I think it's a very valid question. I mean, it's. I'm sure it's still going on. Somebody let me know. What could the impact be? There's definitely, that's a thought as soon as I heard that. Obviously, once you're hearing everybody's safe, your brain starts going, because we've heard all along the kind of the poultry crisis that is driving this rendering plant pursuit. And again, a rendering plant has to go somewhere. We get that. All of these facilities, for us to be able to go get, chicken, albeit I'm not going to go pick up a pack of Pilgrim's Pride chicken when I go to the grocery store anymore. But, to get a pack of chicken, all this stuff has to work. I mean, that's the way modern society is. That it has to go somewhere, and they're having limitations, and that's one of the reasons. So, and I believe Hanceville is one of the largest.
It is. It's one of the largest
rendering plants. So, yeah, I mean, that could have a pretty drastic impact, And I will say, step out of our frustrations here locally. That could also have a pretty big impact on just some genuine, farmers, guys that are raising chickens and part of that whole industry in the poultry industry. So, don't just think about it from our perspective. I think there's some genuine, there's clearly some genuine good folks out there that feed us. And so that could have a pretty major impact on them as well. So, but what impact it's going to have, I don't know. There's tons of speculation that we could probably go through on that.
I don't know, and it just really shows that the time to be, wasting on what's clearly not. If this is an important issue, and it is, rendering plants have to exist, then focus on solving that problem rather than shoving it in a county that doesn't want you. Solve the problem, and solving the problem means finding a better fit. We're not saying that rendering plants don't have to be around or that they're horrible, bad things. It's just not the right fit here. And go somewhere that it is the right fit, that it is a helpful thing to the community. It's not here. Not to say it couldn't be a helpful thing somewhere else.
Right. So Danny Starnes, hey man, I love the way you think. Maybe after the fire in Hanceville, they can rebuild the state-of-the-art facility.
Right. The one that doesn't smell bad, that they've never built ever before, that somehow is going to exist. Yep. Build it in Hanceville. That would be great. Yeah. Build an even larger one. Maybe that's expand. I mean, if that's the right fit.
I don't know. There's questions in there about the forensic audit and how we go through some of that. I know Christy's far more versed in all of that, and that's some discussions with Andrew Jones.
So you got to remember, the Department of Public Examiners in Montgomery has got to come and do that. So it's not like it's something that can just happen. They have to agree to it. And there's been conversations that Andrew Jones has had about that. But again, the stopping block is that when the money goes dark in this FBO and it becomes this private entity, then the ability of the state to come and do an audit to a non-state agency, which is what they say it is, there's roadblocks there. And so we have spent some time trying to overcome those, but quite honestly, we've just been sort of inundated with the...
Right.
with everything to try to stop the rendering plant. But that's not to say that isn't on the list of things to deal with once we can catch our breath and do all of that. But, yes, efforts have been made. It's just not something that we have to have the cooperation of the state, and it's going to take a couple of steps in order to get the cooperation. The will from Andrew Jones is there. It's just, we just haven't had the opportunity.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. And then, I mean, so, same would I'm assuming would be said of the IDA if someone were to want to pursue an audit of the IDA.
That's right.
That it is a private entity. So the way I understand it is basically what the state is saying. The state auditor is basically saying, like,
we don't audit private entities.
You just can't come to your business.
That's right.
And say we want to audit you. I mean, the IRS can for other reasons, but I don't think we're going to have the reach to get the IRS in.
Telling you the quickest and best way to fix it is to get people in office who feel that's an important thing to
restructure
do.
and
that's
going
to be the best.
Same with the IDA,
And again, I think the answer to all of the questions from the beginning and now is we fix ourselves. Yeah. We solve the problem. Looking to Montgomery or the FAA or ADEM or anything to come and do. We're going to have to do, and which is great news because we're the best ones in order to do it. We're going to have to just do it ourselves, which we can do.
Yes, yes, we can. I mean, the Herculean effort that has occurred over the last 8 or 9 months, and a bunch of people that a lot of us didn't know each other. I mean, it's amazing what can be done, and I hope that's not missed in this whole process. And I know there's plenty of folks that are trying to paint this evil opposition group as this we're just citizens. We're just folks fighting for our homes. And that's what's going on. And I've said it before with some of the politics, the political plays that seem to be out there. We're not politicians. There's very few of us that are involved in this whole thing that are actually politicians. So the advantage is we're not playing politics. We're fighting for our homes. We're putting forth the effort. And we're doing what we got to do to protect our homes, and it's remarkable. And again, that's why I've been so encouraged to see this.
It's really, and I know I say this a lot every time I come on, just the number of the people that help and reach out to me with just information or ideas or, hey, this is what I think is going on, because everybody is so engaged, everybody is so active and pulling the rope in the same direction, and it's just I'm grateful. I'm so grateful in the middle of the storm of the fight. So let's take that energy and be hopeful with it.
All right. So I see Lisa asked about how can the IDA be a private entity when they are funded by Gadsden City. We've talked a lot about that in the past, but can you quick explanation of how we've gotten to that conclusion?
So we took the position. We have an open records case filed against the IDA because they have not provided all of the records that we have asked for, and they're subject to a court hearing, and the court did rule based on the evidence it had in front of it that the IDA is not a public entity and not subject to all of those open records. But that's not to say that now, as we're gathering more information as part of the court case, we can't go back and open that issue back up. But again, I think the best way to fix that problem is to
redo it.
To redo it. It's just to get leaders in office who are like, that's not how we're going to play this game. We're not going to do that, and we're going to redo it.
And I think and I don't know that anybody has put forth the thought publicly out of the city council, but I certainly hope that you've got city council members that are kind of raising the eyebrow because they're the ones they fund it. So that money that comes from the city that goes to the IDA. So one option that could fix some of that would be that the city council doesn't approve them as a line item in the budget,
which they're working on the budget right now. The budget starts October 1. That's when their year starts. They're working on the budget right now. So whether they fund the IDA and how much,
so there's a good email to send if you're a Gadsden City resident. There's a good email to send and ask your city councilman what are they thinking about doing about that, because that definitely. Okay, so the court may have ruled one way, but common sense would tell you that's silly. They are supposed to be acting as an arm of the government, and therefore they should be transparent. They are taking at least $500,000. I think
it's around four. I think it's around
okay,
$400,000.
I'm sorry, what's $100,000 amongst friends, right? $400,000 of taxpayer dollars going in there. The other scary thing, and I'm not accusing anybody, but the problem with why it would be structured that way and nobody would know what's on their books is someone else could also be paying them money because they're a private company. I mean, that's basically the way it could be.
Well, I mean, that's what David Hook says the IDA does. They contract with entities. That's why they're not an arm of the
Right.
city. So the question is, well, who do you contract
Right.
with? We know that the, city, but we don't know whether there's anybody else.
So the biggest problem I have with that is that is a system and a basic structure that is solely dependent on the personalities of the people involved. And what I understand, and I've got, we're going to have some conversations with some guys that have been on the IDAs in years past, and I want to kind of have that conversation about what's changed. And the IDA in the past, nobody was really aware that it was structured this way because it was treated as a transparent organization, and nobody, there was no reason to fix it because everybody was
right. Because when Mike McCain, he was in charge of the IDA, he ran it as if it was a public entity. Mike, he died, and when Hooks came is when it went underground. And so that's where so that's why no one ever said anything, because it might have been set up that way, but it wasn't run that way. So.
Yeah. So, again, I mean, why do we have the system of government that we do of checks and balances and all of that kind of stuff to avoid this kind of stuff? And so, yeah, I definitely, that's a problem, however it gets fixed. Now, the other argument that I would make, and while we're going down a really long rabbit hole, but that's all right if y'all want to talk about it. I really think that we need to do away with Gadsden being the IDA and the center of Etowah County, and trying to do, economic development. We're too small of a community. We've talked about that over and over and over again. We need to figure out a way that you can get all the municipalities together to have equal representation. With that also means that all the municipalities are going to have to pony up some of their budget. I understand that's been kind of an issue in the past, but and we've had a county IDA and we've had a city IDA, and that just is, how do you make that work? Mm-hmm. How do you make two entities trying to attract and develop industry? Like, oh well, you take that half and we take that half. I mean, we have one river. Mm-hmm. We've got. It's just,
and it's not easy. I understand that. That's right. Why we don't have that. It's not easy. Yep. But that's not to say that it can't be done. And it's time.
Yes.
It is time. And we see that. Here's what happens when you don't do that. And the consequences of not doing that are worse than the consequences of everybody, having their own little world and not working together for the common goal, which is, what now we see the result of years of not doing that. And not to say that it didn't work and there weren't reasons and people weren't doing the best they could. This is the time to change that. Yep. And I think this is what we should do.
And I'll close this thought process off with, and this may not make a lot of folks happy, from and this is just my opinion on what I have seen and the reactions throughout this entire process. I think what this whole thing has brought to light a lot of the wrong assumptions a lot of people in a lot of areas of this community have made about how things happen around here. Some have known, and there's a number of people that especially when this started said, well, where have you guys been? Mm-hmm. We're here now, we're listening, but I think there's a lot of people going, well, I didn't even realize. Well, no, I always assumed the IDA was part of the government. Like who wouldn't assume that? And then, okay, so this whole issue has brought forth a lot of those things. There's a lot of us that have been involved with the airport for years going, how do you not have anyone with aviation expertise or any aviation background, period? Not a single one on an airport authority board. That just doesn't make sense. And now we've got the whole community. saying the same thing, and that's awesome. There's a
How
lot
do
of
we
that kind of
have
stuff.
5 people,
Right.
5 to 7 people
On all the boards.
holding us hostage.
Yes.
How did we get to the point where literally there's a handful of people who are inviting this rendering plant here that are saying no, it's fine, and because I'm telling you, Pilgrims wouldn't be here if they weren't being told by the leaders. They are wanted here. They would go away. And so we can get mad at them all that we want, but they're the ones that are being told they're wanted here. Our leaders are. How did we get in the position where literally a handful of leaders are controlling something so important, and we are 10 months in to not being able to stop them? I mean, that's just untenable. We can't keep doing that. I mean, we all understand that now.
So, great discussion. We went way off the deep end on
August
the IDA.
20th, August 27th.
Yeah, August 20th and
Noon,
August
venue.
27th. We need you to show up. I'm not seeing any other big questions in here. Apologize if I did gloss over. So check out the website, particularly if you want to go see the criteria that they put forth. And if you want to see who the current list of investors are, definitely go research their companies. If you don't know who they are, I mean, a lot of them I didn't know. I had no idea who David Chadwick was 10 months ago. I really didn't even, I knew there was this big building out there. I didn't even know it was called Choice Fabricators. So, I mean, that's how, in my own little world I've been. So go research those folks. Go look at you want transparency. Now, are they going to bring their bank accounts and, their bank statements and throw them down on the table for everybody to look at? No, and that shouldn't be expected. I don't want to ask anybody to do that, but go research their companies and the backgrounds. It motivates me when I see, she's got some cool stuff going on in Etowah County, and people just don't, So I'm done talking about Etowah County sucks. There's nothing good going on. Nothing good can happen. Nothing will ever change, because I've heard that so much for so many years that I've been around here, and I don't believe it anymore. No. I don't believe it at all. I believe we do have incredible things going on. I mean, guys, listen to Jason Wilson's story about bringing back 40 and the glutton for punishment he was just to bring that forth. I mean, and that's just one example. And there's a lot of people that haven't been as vocal about the challenges that they've overcome. Anywho's, I could keep going.
Look at this group. Look at this group. And I mean, if there's something to be proud of, look at how this group has come together and is fighting hard and doing a great job. All the resources that you guys have and you have brought to this, we can take that and move it towards building a better place here. Etowah County is a amazing place to live. Yep. It's an amazing place to live.
So someone made the comment, Sherman Gotten is the common thread to all the questions concerning the IDA, GAA, and the water board, et cetera. Not just Sherman. Frankie Davis has been there, in the background as well. And then certainly in the last couple of years, David Hooks is clearly, he's the one that put together the vision for Etowah County, for all of us, that we would become the chicken capital of the world. Right. But yeah, I understand the point you're making there about Sherman. Yep.
Well, of course, he's the mayor.
Yeah.
So the idea that he can't do anything to stop this and that there's nothing he can do, of course he is. If he was like, I don't want it, go away, they leave.
Yeah.
And so, this whole game we keep hearing that Sherman says it's Hooks and Hooks says it's the council and the council says it's the mayor and we
still don't know who Hooks actually works
That's
for.
right. Hook says he works for his IDA board, but his former IDA board chair, Larry Mean, says no, he works for the city. So who can stop David Hooks? Apparently, we're not. It's not even clear. But according to the bylaws, the IDA board can stop David Hooks. That's who hires him. That's who fires him. That's who he's paid. Paid.
And who's on that board?
Well, and we're going to talk about that more as we get on, because the IDA board, and I don't think the IDA board knows that they can.
Back to my point.
I know. I think they
this
have
has
been
brought
told
to light a lot of stuff.
I do. I think the IDA board has been told that you're just an advisory board and there's nothing you can do. And so now we've got no one taking responsibility when the IDA board can stop this.
Yep.
So.
Yeah. I mean, fire David Hooks. If they're the board and they have the authority, fire David Hooks. And we're
done.
It's done. So,
or stop him. Just
yeah,
tell
or
him to
stop
stop.
him.
I
Yeah,
mean, they don't have to
yeah.
fight. Just tell him stop.
Yeah.
If that's who his boss is, tell him to stop.
Yeah.
Keep him here. I don't care. Just tell him to stop.
Yeah.
So
we don't want to be, let's reassess. I mean, maybe he's got some great ideas and we could have a conversation as a community. That's the problem. We didn't have that.
Right.
So, and then will both events be at the venue? Yes. As of right now, they will be. Some good points about, the rise in COVID and again, we'll roll with the punches on what may happen. The intention is that I will be able to live stream, just as we've done with these, to YouTube, to the opposition group, and to the Advance Etowah Facebook page. Will be all live streamed, including the Pilgrim's Pride presentation, and I guess any discussion or address that the airport authority makes.
But to be clear, the presentation you're coming to watch, and the 27th, on the 20th, you're coming to watch, and
Right.
the 27th, you have an opportunity to speak.
Right.
So I think there was some confusion last time. The public is, supposed to be. That's the idea. At both of these, you come watch, and that this is the pivotal moment to come to watch on the 20th and on the 27th if you want to speak.
And potentially Q&A. Certainly Etowah community and the group of investors is more than happy to take questions. I'm part of that group, and I turned on a camera and am live on 3 different platforms and would love to take questions. So we're going to do our best to answer and do everything as transparent as possible. We are getting into the world of now we're doing business stuff. So why am I not throwing all of the engineering drawings and all of this kind of stuff up? Well, that's now we're in the business game. And, some things you gotta, you don't want to play all your cards at once.
It's that too, but we know the city and David Hooks, the IDA, are fighting for Pilgrim's Pride. They say that. I mean, they make no bones about the fact they think Pilgrim's Pride is a good idea and they want them to be here. So we are going into this proposal knowing that the powers that be want the other guy. So we obviously can't just, it's not like we can go, oh, here's all of our, because we won't be treated in a fair manner. I'm not saying the airport authorities is or is not got their mind made up, but we know that the city and the IDA we know who they root for. So we can't just say, okay, here's everything. So you go ahead and get ready for what we're going to say. Well, we don't know what you're going to say, because we're kind of not coming into this in a completely fair shot, but that's okay. It doesn't matter if it's unfair going in. We will knock their socks off. That's fine. Mm-hmm.
But it is light industry plan. It's not complicated. Mm-hmm. As I have heard David Chadwick say that many times, the owner of Choice Fab. It's just not that hard. And that's
this is a type of a park. It's a light industry park that you see. I mean, everywhere. It's pretty common when we need one. So it's not anything that can't succeed and hasn't succeeded in communities all over the United States.
So y'all keep an eye out. I think pretty much each Monday leading up, we're going to try and get some folks on. Several of them will be part of the investment group. Some others are just going to be some fun people to talk to. And we're going to talk more about what's going on at Etowah. We're going to talk about stuff coming up. I'm sure there'll be some talk of the rendering plant, but I'd really, guys, I really want us to get to talking about other stuff because we have so many other things that we can discuss as a community. I enjoy those conversations. It's a lot of fun. I've always enjoyed talking to business owners, business leaders, and just people that put a lot of thought into what's going on in the world around them. And we've got some great thinkers around here, and we've got some great folks with some great vision. I'm excited. So, guys, tune in as I'll get the word out on what we're doing there. But this has got to be a grassroots. You got to get out, talk to your friends at church, talk to your friends at the wine club, talk to your friends at the book club, talk to your friends wherever. Talk to the strangers. And I know some of you are more than happy to go do that. Reba Stanley, I'm looking at you. Go tell people we need you here.
Are you coming on August 20th? Yep. Because I'm coming August 20th.
We need you here.
Are people wearing their Advanced Etowah gear or red? Or have we talked about anything?
I don't know. I think we're talking about it now.
Maybe.
I'm sure you guys decide.
Chime in.
Yeah, if we need to do red, or if you got Advanced Etowah shirts or other gear, I don't know. What do you guys think? We've had some other ideas about some. We'll see if they pan out. Honestly, I don't want to say anything in case they don't pan out because there's a lot to do in the next few weeks. What
ideas do you guys have to get word out, to get people there, to show the cohesion, to show the group? I mean, whatever. I mean, give your ideas.
I think, and I haven't followed all the details. I apologize. I think Reba knows more about this, but somebody's doing a concert of some kind.
Are they still doing that? I didn't know if that was still owned or not.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Okay, yeah. But that's I mean, whatever, guys. Whatever you're doing, whatever little niche. We got to get the word out. People got to show up on August 20th, and we gotta stop this whole notion that it's just a bunch of fake people on Facebook or keyboard warriors or keyboard ninjas. I think is what Reba said.
Well, and you'll have some stuff posting about the event and things you can share. So there'll be stuff rolling out. I know Michael's working hard on some stuff that you can use to post on your Facebook page or hand out to people or put up something, whatever, to get to help, so you can help us. So, like Michael says, talk to people, and
it's amazing, how many people have been involved in this whole thing, and you still meet people that have no idea what's going on. I'll tell you, as a guy that does, marketing, social media, for a living, do you know how many times? So we've got a tackle store that we've had now for I think about 3 years out of Bucks Island, and I still have people come, you should put that on the internet. You should let people know. You should post something on Facebook about it.
Michael.
So
yeah.
While I love social media, it's an incredibly powerful tool for businesses to use to reach their customers, or to reach people, to build community. It only goes so far. And I know there's tons of people that aren't on social media. That's why, a lot of folks aren't on Facebook. That's why we've got an Instagram account. We're just limited in what we can do over there. We've also got the YouTube channel. And don't tell me that old people don't go to YouTube, because I get a lot of guys that come in, 65-year-old men that are watching videos about fishing, on YouTube. So, but it really boils down to, you also need to talk about it at work. I see some comments about mobilizing and really talking to church groups. Absolutely.
Yes. If there's an announcement, if you're in a club, a civic club, a church club, get up and announce it. If there's an opportunity for you to talk about, anything you can to encourage people to come, to get the word out, how important it is.
And if you, I'll throw this out there. If you don't feel comfortable really kind of talking about everything that's going on, reach out to us, and we'll find somebody. If you've got something in the next few weeks, a meeting or something like that, we'll find somebody that can come
and
speak about it and explain it. That's no problem. We'll make that happen. So guys, I appreciate it. Those of you.
Oh, and if you have access to a sign, I know Kim Kidd at the Willow Tree has done a really good job of that. But if you have a sign at your business or anything like that, put it on your sign. We've got some great people who've done that as well. Any more questions? Have we got everybody worn out on Friday night?
I think Reba's throwing out the ideas, and that's awesome. So, okay. Guys, y'all talk about it. So Crystal, I'm not going to bring your whole comment up there, and I haven't read through all of it, but I think from some key snippets, you're talking about trying to do a Zoom call in where the audience can actually pull your camera up and be seen. Hold on.
Do that for.
Sorry, I know somebody commented about people drinking on these shows.
For what? For the.
So I see a comment about the voice. So. Crystal, I think that's an awesome idea. I'll definitely put some thought into the technology of doing that. I know it can be done. It would be kind of cool.
What is she talking about?
So basically, we could show the. I know you, and I really don't watch The Voice either, but I know what she's talking about because I've seen some snippets where during COVID they had the audience shown around the group. Everybody kind of Zoom called in so that you still had a physical audience watching and people sitting on their couches at home and all that kind of stuff.
Okay. I got you.
That's a pretty cool idea. Obviously, The Voice has a bit bigger budget for what they did. I definitely I'll put some thought into how we could do that, because the whole point of that would really be that the Gadsden Airport Authority could see that. The simple answer that I would say to that, and if we end up with 1,000 people in person and 3,000 or 4,000 people online, the idea that people would discount. That's go back and look at the city council meetings before all this started. You were getting 12, 20 people viewing. Now regularly 150 people are watching the city council meetings. When
this first broke, it was like 800 one meeting. It was crazy how many people watched the council meeting.
And so I hope, at our technology level and budget, I hope that folks don't go, that's just Facebook. No, that's individuals that are, at work, or, they took their lunch break, but they live too far away to make it in time, and they're on watching and listening. They're real human beings. Crystal, that's a cool idea. And certainly if anybody watches this and sees this that has that expertise right off the bat, I can pull it in to the feed. I'm just, because what I'm going to be trying to do is push out what's going on in the room. So anyways, that might be a fun challenge. We'll see. So all the tech geeks that are out there, we'll put our heads together and see if we can figure out some way to do that. So I don't know. Maybe everybody could take photos and we could have, fake, we could post them up all around the wall. Or something like that. So I don't know. Maybe there's some cool ways that we could do that.
We can figure something out.
Yeah. So all right, guys. All right. We've been going for a long time, and so we're gonna get out of here. Y'all enjoy your Friday evening.
Mm-hmm. Have a great weekend.
Stay motivated. I don't know, this sounds cheesy, but keep the faith in what's going on here. I think it's cool. I think we have every reason to have positive attitudes about what is, and you find yourself in a bad situation. And I know that I talked about this at the very beginning, that the temperature is boiling. People are sick and tired of this game that and that's what it seems like, is that it's some game that's being played and has been played for months and months and months, and everybody is getting so sick of it. But we got to see it through, and we just got to keep the faith and keep fighting.
We got to persevere,
and
that's what's going to take. It's just we knew from the beginning this wasn't going to be it seemed like it ought to be a fight that is short. It's a pretty odd, but it was pretty clear at the beginning. This is a long haul fight, and that's okay. We're just still in the hall, but we just got to persevere.
And I'll close with those of us at Advanced Etowah. Again, 10 months ago, not even a concept thought of. Now it's something, and we have definitely realized that, like, this is a 5-year thing.
Yeah.
That this isn't just about fixing the Renner plant. This is about changing the direction of Etowah County, and 5 years, maybe a whole nother generation. But we got to get headed in the right direction. So, guys, you're a key in that. Y'all have a great weekend, and keep an eye out. We'll be doing something Monday around lunchtime. Some pretty quirky guests, I think. So I'm excited. I'll get information out on that, but I'm excited to have that conversation. And hope you can join us or watch it later on down the road. So again, hit that share button and let folks know what's going on. August 20th, August 27th. We need you there in person and ready to support, and then ask your questions and put forth your comments on the 27th. So y'all have a good